Hello, this is Pat Walker at MissionWinners.com, and I'm doing a video here. Ask a question today to the VIP members. Hey, what are the areas that you got problems with? You know, what's going on here? You know, this is like Ask Pat. What do you got here? Mr. P asked a question. How do you find the best candidates and how do you catch them? Great question. Here we go. Mr. P, let's do it. This is from Daily Graphs Online. Research from 1999. 40 great stock market winners. 87% of them had earnings up 30% or higher. 71% of these 40 great winners had earnings up 50% or higher. Cut to the chase right here. Almost 9 out of 10 of these stocks had earnings up 30% or higher. There's a foundation for you. It's like, gosh, I don't know what to buy. Look for companies that have great earnings. Next point, 86% had sales up 30% or higher. 63% of them had sales up 50% or higher. By the way, right here, prior to their moves, before they broke out, they had great earnings and or great sales. More than 2/3 of the stocks that did well had strength in the industry group. Point number 11, relative strength, 92 or higher. All these stocks had earnings estimates up. The average estimate was up 48%. So we've got a recipe. Leading groups, stocks that are making a ton of money in earnings or a ton of money in sales. There's part of your foundation right there on what to look for. This is research I did with a buddy of mine, Kenny. Big stock market winners in 2007. These stocks exploded. One of the biggest winners I ever had in my lifetime was this one right here, Dry Ships. 2007. You ought to take a look at it. DRYS. These were the earnings before they broke out, not after, before. Most of these stocks doubled or tripled in price. Again, further concentration, further clarification. What are we looking for? Companies with great earnings. Great earnings. Finally, right here, this is research from Daily Graphs, Investors Daily. I'm an IBD Meetup co-leader, co-spokesman, and so we teach a class once a month. It's more advanced. Bottom line is this. The majority of leading stocks come from leading industries. 37% of a stock price's movements related to the industry group. I'm not going to read all this to you. Bottom line is this. Basically, about half a stock price's movement is related to the industry and the sector that it's in. So here we go. We've got a recipe for a cake. The industry and the sector has got to be strong. It's got to be a company with great earnings or great sales. It'd be great if it had it both, but it's got to have both. So now we take it a step further. Mr. P says, so how do you catch them? Here we go. Right here, I'm pulling up a chart for you. A couple of them. Amazon. What we look for and what you should look for are market leaders, and you try to find clean and simple chart patterns. A short shelf like this, a longer base like this, a pullback to the 8-day moving average line. Simple patterns is what you're after. SSO had an entry right here that we did. Right here, downward sloping trend line. I'm going to show you something here. Right there, downward sloping trend line. Shoots through it on a pickup in volume. We pick it up right here, all right? Right in here, 101.54 was our average cost. Pulls back, and then it just starts to make a move. And what does it do? It just trends up the 8-day, which leads to a point. Look for leading stocks and leading groups. Max list stocks, companies that are franchises, that nobody does what they do better than they do. Google, nobody does what Google does as good as Google does. Amazon, nobody does what Amazon does as good as Amazon does. Netflix, they're franchise companies. We focus on those. It's awesome. Try to find an entry. Look at this right here on SSO. Here's Amazon, a nice long shelf, walking up the 8-day. That's what we look for. NVIDIA had a shelf here, had a lifted through the 50-day here and marched up. SQ was a great one last year. Lifted off right here, marching up the 8-day. The bottom line is this. I'll quantify it for you. Look for the leading stocks in the top 20 or 30 leading groups that are above. Now I'm going to make this real good for you. They're over $10 a share or $12 a share. They trade more than 200,000 shares a day. They have an accumulation distribution of A or B. They're above the 50-day. They're within 15% of 52-week highs. I'm telling you what, you put those together and you got yourself a recipe for a cake. Study the charts. Look for clean and simple entries right here. A nice clean shelf with volume confirmation when it lifts off. I mean, check this out. Here's Square. It's like, oh, it's on the 8-day, it's going sideways. Oh, it's on the 8-day, it's going sideways. Okay, it's tightening up. Maybe if it lifts off the 8-day on volume, that would be good. Okay, slight volume pick up there. I can see these tops taken out around 33 bucks. I guess that would be good if it did it. They did it. They voted. People talk with their mouths and vote with their pocketbooks. They voted. And you're off to the races. That's what we look for. Over and over. That's a good game. That's a real good game. That's what we're after. Take it, watch the price action on the 50-day, the 20-day, and the 8-period exponential moving average. There's a lot of information I just shared with you, Mr. P, but focus on the leading groups, the leading stocks, the companies that are making a ton of money with earnings or sales, and you will dramatically improve your results. And you know what? The key list that I put together, that's what it does. Thank you very much.